I might have touched the word.
Okay, so I hope I can speak okay. So as you know, the substantial embodiment of God is our two parents, true father, true mother. They are the substantial embodiment of God, right? So then we have a truth. So just try to understand the relationship. Those are two parents and the truth and then our position or something like that. I could not really prepare a nice slide, but anyway, let's go. If you study the unification thought, right? So then that explains the process of the creation. Right? Then it says there are two steps of the creation. And this is the first step. This one. Then this is the second step. I mean, this is God, right? This is God. Then God has an internal character and external form, right? So as you know, that's a sunsan, internal character. God's internal character and God's external form, right? The dual characteristics of God, right? So within the God's internal character, God's sunsan, here is the essence of the heart. I mean, the center is the heart. Then the internal sunsan and the external sunsan. Yeah. So within the God's mind or within the God's internal character, there is another internal and external, right? So, and of course, like the heart might be here, but the center of the center is the heart. Heart has desire, passion to do something. So because there is the passion to do something, then here is the internal sunsan. So what is this one? God's internal part of the mind. God's when you kind of divide your mind into two, internal, external, then what is the internal part of your mind? I mean, we too same. Our mind could be divided, not divide, but our mind has an external part and internal part. Internal mind and external mind. Well, I don't know. So, yeah.
Spirit, mind, and physical
mind? Another one. That could be, yeah. That's another way to divide, distinguish. But another one. Anybody? You guys. Are you okay? All right, what's the internal? What's the internal part and the external part of our mind? Conscience? Conscience? All right, so, okay, hint.
Is external like principle?
External principle?
Like the truth.
Almost, yeah. Okay, so this one utilize this one. In your mind, this one utilize this one. This is like a more functioning part, right? You said truth, right? We utilize the truth. Yeah. So what is this one? What part of mind utilize? Okay, so here is the the truth, yeah, knowledge, truth, concept, all those kind of things are external part of mind. And something is utilizing it, right? Yeah. Emotion, yeah. If you say emotion, then what else? You said somebody said will.
Desire.
Huh?
Desire.
Oh,
Desire.
goodness.
What?
Yes.
Well,
Is it
if you say
emotional
that,
will?
if you said your will and the emotion, then what's another one?
It's a
Intellect. Yeah. Basically, the most likely, of course, like the internal part of their mind is the emotion, the emotion, intellect, and will, right? So, but in order to, emotion, heart is maybe part of the emotion, but when you look at the how to create things, your intellect or the power of reasoning, right? Reason, you can think. That's the important thing. You can think, then utilize your knowledge and your concept or those kind of things, right? So then it is that when you do that, then you can make the blueprints. If you want to make something, then you have you need to have the blueprints, right? So that's this. We say that we call that logos, right? That is the basically the blueprint. Uh, Everybody is a cook, everybody is cooking here, right? In order to make something, you have to do this. You have to do. Yeah? So you have to have a vision, right? You have to have the blueprints of what you want to make. So that's the thing. So that's a blueprint here, logos. That in the Bible says John, right? So in the beginning was the Word, and it was with God. Yes. And the Word was God. This word, right, in the beginning. Word is in the beginning was the Word, right? And the Word was with God. So the Word is basically talking about this one, the Logos. God has the blueprints, so in the beginning, right, before their creation, that's a beginning, right? The Logos was their beginning. Now, of course, this is God. All right. So then, of course, this the free energy is the God's too within God. That is God's external form, a free energy. So when you have a blueprint, then you utilize the materials, then make it, right. So that's when you are cooking, then the same thing. You have a blueprint, then you know what to do, what the steps, first step, second, third, fourth, what to do. Then you know what kind of the materials you need. Then you need to have the material, right, to make it. So material is here. So God, it's not the material within God, but God has the source of all the materials, right? Energy is the source of all the matters. So then the pre-energy is the God's himself, God's external form, right? So, okay, God uses his own pre-energy then to make things, make the particles, atoms, and the molecules, right? So then everything is going to be made based on this kind of process. So that's this is the unification thought explained how God created everything. Yeah. Then the most important creation is the man, of course. That's a man, right? So God, that's why we are like this, because God had a vision from the beginning. God wanted to create us this way. Yeah. So that's that is in the logos. And here it is, the substantial man. So when man, Adam and Eve was created, then then they grow up and reach their perfection. Then that's then purpose of God's creation is realized, right? This is God has a vision of one man, one woman, and then when we reach their perfection, then this man is the embodiment of this, God's original idea. So that was supposed to happen, right? In the beginning, that was supposed to happen, So man or Adam or Eve becomes an embodiment of God, embodiment of the truth. Truth in this case is a logos, here, this one. So that's original plan. Then, we fell. What's next? Oh, Jesus. We fell, then we could not realize it, and Jesus came, right? Jesus is the embodiment of God. Jesus became the embodiment of God for the first time, for the first time. So the point is, I think my point is, before Jesus, nobody became the embodiment of God, right? So that means what? That means nobody knows. Nobody knows about God. Nobody knows about God's plan. You know what I mean? So Adam and Eve, they were growing, right? They were growing. Then of course they didn't have to study the principle and those kind of stuff. Just they are relating to God time by time, then growing, then their heart grows, step by step, then they become one with God, then they naturally become their, embodiment of God, right? So then now Adam and Eve know God. Adam and Eve could talk to God, and so with God, living with God, yeah. So then that's they know. Then at that time, then they know God. When they're growing, their knowledge about God is imperfect. But once they become perfect, right? So then they know God. Yeah. So after the fall, nobody knows God. I mean, the relationship was separated. Then we had no idea about God, right? No idea about God. Only Jesus. Jesus is the first one who knows God. Maybe we did same kind of talk last time. But Jesus is the first one, and he is the only one, right? Nobody else knows. Nobody else. Maybe some kind of a message came right to the Moses, but Moses doesn't know about God. Maybe a little bit, tiny bit of God, right? Just the really tiny bit of God. So by their messenger, then also he got some kind of words, but basically that Jesus was the only one who knows God. That's why he could speak about God, because he knows, because he is one. He became the embodiment of God. That's why he was able to speak about God. So that's his word, right? The gospel. Why he had to speak in order to guide people, in order to guide the foreign people, then he need to speak about God. Otherwise, then these guys, foreign people had no idea about God. He's the only one who knows. And he is the only one who can speak about God, right? So that's the situation. Then of course, okay. So he could not speak everything because the people are not ready. Maybe we can go back there later. Okay, so now the true parents came, true father, right? True father that as the Lord of Second Coming. Then so he knows God too. So when he had to go through a lot, and as the Lord of Second Coming, and so he become one with God, right? So then he became the embodiment of God, embodiment of their truth. So that's a true father. Okay, let's say. Then the true father spoke about God a lot, God's providence, God a lot, right? And the divine principle, we know divine principle, right? So that's the true. Why true Father had to speak so much word, because we need it. Without somebody speak about God and the truth, then we are completely lost. We don't know what to do. We don't know what's the direction. We don't know what's their goal. No idea, right? So that's why true Father had to speak a lot. So, but the true Father was speaking, the Word, then he wrote the original divine principle. That's for us. He was basically speaking about God, right? Speaking about God. So that's those two. We need first thing we need to know this. Right? I said truth. What we want to know is God, right? We want to know God. We want to know God, right? So then, in order for us to know God, understand God, we need the Word. We need the words. We need their guidance. True parents' word is the way to understand God. That's true father's guidance or true father's word or divine principle is the method or the Mr. Kambashi said that's like a recipe. The guidance or that's a guideline for us to become the true embodiment of God and understand God and know God. Guideline, right? That's a true father's word. Divine principle is like that. So this is the truth we want to know. This is the God we want to know. This is the God, then true father, this is the embodiment of God. This is the goal we want to reach. So this is the guideline. This is the something we need to get there because we have no idea, right? We need true parents. We need a true parents. Then we need the true parents' guidance. So to get there, right? So that's a divine principle or true father's word here. So just one thing that we should know the difference, not the difference, but when we speak about the truth, right? When you say about the truth or the words, God's word, what truth, truth. We say divine principle is truth, yeah, right? But that the ultimate or what we want to know is this one, right? What we need to know is, or what we want to reach is this one. So that's kind of I think that's important. Sometimes, like, right? That's why what when you study the divine principle, even though you have been studying a divine principle for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, still you get something, right? Why is that? Same word, we are studying, you may memorize the divine principle. I almost memorized all the divine principle like 30 years ago, because I was teaching every day, right? So that doesn't mean I know this one, right? Memorizing the divine principle doesn't mean like you understand the truth. Truth is here. We are coming closer to understand the truth, which is God Himself, So we are trying to reach there. Then the book, Exposition of the Divine Principle, or True Father's Word is their guideline. So when we study that, then our goal is to understand God. But you memorizing the Father's Word doesn't mean like you understand God. You may understand and memorize the Divine Principle book, right? So that doesn't mean like you know God. It's completely different thing. So that doesn't mean you know the truth. If you like memorize and understand, then logically, then what is said in the Divine Principle book, that doesn't mean you know the truth, right? That's a different thing. So that's why, like, if your spirit and your intellect grows, then your understanding of the divine principle became deeper. I mean, you have the deeper understanding of God. Yeah. So that's why, like, we need to keep studying. Sometimes you feel boring, but actually, that's the divine principle of Father's word is so deep. So it's amazing. Then if we say like that, another thing is how true Father or Jesus. I mean, Jesus' message was pretty simple. True Father's message was not so simple. I mean, maybe essence is simple, but how anybody can describe this? Yeah, you think about it. How anybody can describe God? How? Is that possible? Right? You may say almost impossible. How can you explain? How can you explain? How can you explain about that Yuki? You know, Yuki is struggling. So right? Then you know Yuki, right? You know, substantially relating to Yuki, his character you may know pretty much if when you are living together. Then when you have to describe Yuki by the words, by some kind of language, English, right? Then so you have to think so many things. Okay, his character is like this, and the body shape like this, and he has this kind of fallen nature, and good nature, fallen nature, so mixed up, stupid, all kinds of stuff, right? You may explain, but that don't you think that's not so easy? Then the people hear what you are saying about the Yuki. Sarah is explaining about the Yuki to somebody. Then the Yuki is like this, like that, and you may read you may write the one book about the Yuki. Then somebody read the book and memorize the book. Then that person doesn't mean really understand the Yuki, right? That's the mediator is a word, but how can you describe this substantial, amazing being by the words? That's not easy. So, but true Father, Jesus, true Father, trying to explain the God so much, by the word, Korean language. So then that's a guideline, but that doesn't mean that's he can explain everything. So that's almost like impossible task, right? So that's a divine principle. Not so easy, but we need it. Otherwise, like, we have no way. We don't know what to do. We don't know what kind of direction we have to go, right? So that's okay. That's a divine principle. He wrote the original divine principle. Then the Reverend Yu wrote the exposition of the divine principle based on his understanding. Then still that is a good guide. I mean, the so systematic divine principle, right? But that is down. Translated in English, then another step, many things probably might be lacking. Level 4, Reverend Clark did this one. Unification thought, Dr. Lee did that one, those things are like the guidance, then when we study it, train, study it, then like we may come closer to understand God more, right? So that is the award. It is, this is not the truth itself, right? But the point is, without this person, without this substantial person, then we have no way to reach without this person. Okay, somebody, maybe I said same thing, last time. The word, somebody get the liberation by the word, God is this. Like Moses got the 10 Commandments. And somebody got the liberation. God is that. God is this. God said this, right? So that's like an incredible limitation there. If we want to know the Yuki, then we need somebody who was so close to Yuki and really understand the Yuki. Then okay, if we need a mediator, eventually you meet the substantial man, Yuki, right? So then so you may understand through the relationship, right? But before, then what we need is somebody really who knew Yuki. In this case, somebody who completely become one with God, that person is the only person who can talk about God. That's the only person. Nobody else can talk about God because don't know. They don't know. How can they talk about God if they don't know, right? You know, that Jesus is the only one, and the true Father and the true Mother, they are the only people who can talk about God. Right? Because they are there. They are embodiment of God. Like they are one with God. God's original idea is that God and man become one. You know, true Father is the one, true Mother is the one with God. That's why they can talk about God. Yeah. So that is very important thing. So let me see. You know, the true Mother here. But true Father said once, right? Not embodiment of the words. Okay. I mean, we need some kind of context. We have we have embodiment of the word, embodiment of the truth. We have that kind of word in the divine principle, right? You know, then okay. You know, when we understand the words or truth, right? The truth that we learn from the divine principle book. Usually we think divine principle, we say that the truth, divine principle, the truth. Then divine principle mean the exposition of the divine principle book many times. Usually, then the embodiment of the truth, the embodiment of that one, embodiment of that truth, which was spoken by the true Father. I mean, you know, kind of complicated. So embodiment of that truth, that is the true Father is that. True Father is that the embodiment of the truth, the book, the divine principle book, which is the truth. Then the Father is the embodiment of that, you know. Then the Father said, no, the other way around, right? The Father said that the other way around. That is the word by me. That is the word, the words of, okay. What is this one? True Father was talking about this 2009 and 10. So True Father said, okay, that the substance is the first, then the word, right? Substance. Without the substance, then there is no word. I mean, yeah, basically it's like that. You know, the Father's word is the you know, Father's word. Father says something. Father is speaking the truth because he is the substance of substantial embodiment of God, basically. You know, without the substance, then there is no word. That's what the Father was talking about. You know, that's we learn the word, the divine principle, Father's word. You know, then of course, like for us, we try to follow that and become the embodiment of that navy, the word. You know, we learn, right? That's how like we become the true man and woman. Hopefully, right? That's our goal. But the initially, true Father, true Mother's case, right? That they are not like an embodiment of that spoken word. I mean, the divine principle book. This is that is a result of their true parents, result of their true Father who embodied God Himself, right? The substance, because they know God. The substantial being knows God now. That's why that they can speak about God, right? That is the things that we are studying. They know God. That's why they speak it. That's a divine principle, Father's word. Then that's the one we are studying it. That's the thing like we need, right? As a fallen man or still far away from God, we need that guidance, right? But the word is the second one. The first is their substance, embodiment of God. That is the first. Without that, then we have no word. Without that, then we have no true the word or guidance that we can follow. You know what I mean? So true Father was saying, you know, he was saying that eventually, so he became the embodiment of God, embodiment of the truth. But this truth, when he said maybe embodiment of the truth or whatever, that truth is this one. This, not this one. Oh, this is the true mother. Not this one, right? They're not talking about this one, talking about this one. Embodiment of the truth. The truth is here. Truth. Embodiment of the truth. True Father is the embodiment of truth. True Mother is the embodiment of truth. That is the truth here. We are not talking about this one, right? So that's what the Father, somehow, Father wanted to make sure that make it very clear, right? He is not the embodiment of this truth, right? He is the embodiment of this, right? That's why so he can spoke about this one. So that by the words, right? That is the one we have right now with the divine principle or other true Father's word and the true Mother's word, you know. So that's why he said the substance is the first. Substance. Okay, substance is more important than the truth. In that case, the truth is talking about this one. You know, not this is, of course, this is very important, but this one, only true Father, true Mother knows this, right? Then so we don't know. Then we need this kind of like the words, true Father's word and the true Mother's word, you know. Yeah. So that's the see the how important true parents are, you know. That's that is the that's okay. That's amazing thing. So true mother came, right? True Father is an embodiment of truth, but he is representing the half of God, right? You know, true Father. You know, that's no, only Father or only Mother. There is a limitation, you know. So that obviously, right? So, you know, so that he doesn't, I mean, no man can understand woman. So that is, you know, God has some, those kind of different kind of character in him or in God himself, in God, not himself, God self, I don't know. So, all right, now true Father and the true Mother, then they are the true representative of God, right? Then when they got together, then they can represent entire God. When they become one, then they become truly the embodiment of God, right? So that's why we need to, you know, they are the model. So they are the God's the true embodiment, and the God is there actually. Jesus said, when you see me, you see God. You know, true parents can say more like that. You know, when you see us, then you see God, right? So that is the true parents. That is the true parents. So you know that's so that's why we have some additional word from the true mother now. You know, which is very important. Yeah, don't you think? Like if mother did not speak, then our understanding of God, you know, still we are trying to understand, but actually very amazing, important part of God was lacking, yeah? True Father didn't talk about it. I mean, he's a man, you know, how can he talk about the woman? He is not a woman, he's a man, you know? A woman is different from man. So there's some part of God only woman can talk about, right? So, you know, that's, you know, that there are lots of complicated human history, you know, man-centered history, and we have zero concept about the true value of woman, you know, for, you know, 6,000 years or more longer time, you know, zero understanding about the true value of woman. So now, because true mother is a true representative of God, she is the embodiment of God. She knows God. She knows the truth, right? About, you know, that's the original God's idea about woman. Without her, then we never know. 0%, right? 0%, because she became one with God, because she became the true embodiment of God as a woman. That's why we know. I mean, we can know now, right? So, without her, then we don't reach there. No, we cannot. We cannot. So that is the the true mother, what true mother is doing right now, right? So okay, it's almost yeah. So that's yeah. Well, the one thing already I said, our desire is to understand God, know God, and that we become true father, true mother, like them, right? That's our goal. We should not kind of misunderstand about divine principle, true father's word, and the true mother's word, that those are their guidance. Then as Mr. Kambashi said, that their words are like a recipe. Recipe. Okay, so let's see. I don't know if this is really good example, but okay, there was some kind of amazing pizza, right? That's pizza is okay. Amazing the pizza, I don't know, too simple. I don't know. Maybe ramen, or let's see. Amazing ramen, right? I don't know if that's good. Okay, so then that's one guy, or one guy had incredible idea, or that is a person who can make the ramen that way, right? So in order okay, unless you can make it, unless you are able to make that amazing ramen, amazing noodle and incredible nice soup. That's a very difficult one, very, very nice soup, right? How to make it? Unless you are able to make it, you cannot guide anybody. You cannot make the recipe, right? Yeah, don't you think you can? Or how can you make the recipe for other people if you cannot make it? Yeah, somebody has to make it, right? Then to know it, then like, you can write the recipe. Then there is many different way to write, maybe, So that's okay. That's a recipe. That their word is like they're guiding us, trying to guide us to get to their point, So okay, so that's a word. That is their word. Okay, so that's why we should not get never bored to study the word. So our goal is reach here and here, true father. We have to become a true man and a true woman, right? So that is our goal. So now another point. Then almost. That's in here, right? God's original idea. There's a logos, God's original idea, blueprints. There is no fallen man, right? No fallen man. Fallen man is not the truth. They're trying to describe what happened, right? And then the reason why, like, we have fallen nature, that's fallen man, right? That nothing to do. This one has nothing to do with fallen man. Restoration, no, right? It's not, no restoration here, because we fell. Then the true father had to describe it. How this is how we can come back to God, or how we can receive their true parents. That's a major point of the restoration history, right? The purpose of the restoration history is to receive the Messiah, and we have the Messiah, true parents. So right. So that otherwise then nobody can talk about God, if we don't have the Messiah. If we do not have the true parent, then nobody can talk about God. Nobody can explain about God, and nobody can bring people back to God. The true parents are the key. Then, so okay. So in God's mind, there was no fallen man, no restoration. No. So now we have a true parents, right? The major purpose of the human history, the restoration history, major purpose of the restoration history was accomplished. Accomplished. It's accomplished, 6,000 years history. If the one major purpose was to have the true parents, accomplished, right? That's amazing thing. That's amazing. Yeah, right? So that's that now we are living with the true parent, true father, true mother, right? So what kind of things, what is our purpose? What are we doing right now together with our true parents? Yeah. So we are trying to be the true man, true woman, and the true couple and establish the true family like them. Yeah, then I think we can get there. Now, like we need to really understand God, right? So true mother, what true mother said, everybody, we need to know the essence of God. We can know that, okay? Not only true father, actually wasn't. Now we have a true father, true mother. Then we know about their gods, like a motherly type of God too, right? That's a real God. We need to know the essence of God. We can know the essence of God now, Then what are we gonna do? By their guidance, then it's like we reach here, right? We reach there. We understand God, then we become the true embodiment of God. That is what we need to do. That's what we are going to do. We are doing it now, right? Then in that case, right? This is a time like we can do it. That's the point. Then what? So then can we grow without knowing the fallen man? Can we grow? Then I think we can go. We can grow. If we truly try to understand God's idea, try to be like that, try to be like man, not true man, try to like a true woman, like true man, true woman, then God's child, and then having the filial heart, and then wants to be with God. I want to be with God. I want to be like a live with God, and I want to be a true man, true woman, and live for the sake of others. Everybody, brothers and sisters, that kind of life. Right? That's here. God's idea is right there, right? We need to know what is God's idea. Then to try to be like that. Try to be like that. Then of course, naturally you fight against your fallen nature. Then if you want to live, if you are living for the sake of others, then as Father said, our fallen nature is falling down one by one, falling off. Then that's what we come closer to God, right? So I think the true mother's guidance makes really sense. Just we need to really change our concept, That's right. Right now, we no restoration, because the purpose of the restoration history is accomplished, right? Then we are living after that together with our true parents. True parents, what we need to know through our true parents, we need to know God. Then actually how we can know God. True parents' guidance, of course, true father, true mother, talking about God, this God, what kind of principle? What kind of part is this? Principle of creation, right? You don't need to talk about the fall not much anymore. You don't need to how to receive the Messiah. No, already we received the Messiah, right? We don't need that. The Cain Abel, yeah, maybe, that's that kind of challenge still comes, but how to overcome? By understanding the idea of the thing, by understanding the idea, or, the true brother, sister, true brother relationship. What is that? What is that? Look like. Then thinking about it, then so if you are not like that, and try to be like that. So okay, so that's that, right? I think this is a time we live that way. Yeah. So okay, so now true father, true mother, true parent, true embodiment, true substantial embodiment of God is with us. Yeah. So that's those two. Yeah, the truth, the creation, God's original idea. What is that? Maybe we need to understand something. But looking at the true parents, how they live, how they lived, how they are living right now, what kind of things they are doing, right? That's the true God there. You know? Yeah. So I think to me, that's why that when true mother said like that, teach the creation and true parents life course, and especially what we are achieving together with our true mother, giving people hope, and then the peace, world peace is not illusional idea. That is really possible in reality, right? So, okay, so I'm doing this again. I mean, that may be same conclusion. Why True Mother is saying we emphasize the creation and the true parents. Creation, if this is a creation, principle of creation, true parents, embodiment of that logos. Right? That's what we need. That's what we need right now. So I hope so we can really kind of maybe I don't know, maybe you are okay. But to me, like I needed some kind of process to really understand this. Then to me, I now that really makes sense. Yeah, that's really makes sense. We need the true parents and the principle of creation. Then we will make it, right? So that's what I think. Okay, so that's why I want to keep a little bit going, talking about the true parents, especially the aspect of the only begotten son and the only begotten daughter, understand more deeply, especially after the rebirth workshop. You had so many things, right? Yeah, so I hope we can study true parents more. All right.